The Talmud tells us an interesting principle. The principle is called Makom hinichu li avotai lehitgadol bo. My forebears left me a little area to become great in. And the meaning of the Talmud words is as follows. When you look at Jewish law, Jewish philosophy, it's absolutely massive. And you find that there are certain areas that are concentrated upon. Everybody studies them, everybody practices them, people write books about them. But occasionally there's an area that, for some reason, some inexplicable reason, is just ignored. Nobody really takes it that much seriously until someone comes on the scene and takes that area and owns it and writes about it and delves into it and publicizes it. And on that, the Talmud says, it is as if the person can say, my forebears left me a little area in Torah to become great in. No one was involved in it until I came on the scene. Not that it didn't exist, but that I made it into something powerful. And in this week's parashah, the Torah speaks about perhaps one of the most destructive sins that exist within Jewish tradition. And that is the sin of rechilut and lashon hora, of tale-bearing and speaking derogatory, defamatory words. Lo telech rachil ba'amecha, says the Torah, you must not go around as a gossip monger amongst your people. And yes, the Talmud always spoke about how serious a crime this was, how destructive words were. They're far more destructive than even weapons. But from a certain point of view, this area of halakha was completely ignored until the late 19th century, when an incredible towering figure came on the scene. When I say towering, I refer to him in terms of his achievement, not in terms of his height, because in terms of his height, he was actually a short man. And this was Rabbi Yisrael Meir HaKohen Kagan, who lived in a small little hamlet in Lithuania, which you couldn't even reach by rail, which you couldn't even reach by road. It was called Radin. And this small man, short little man, short in stature, who never his entire life even held a rabbinical position, became the most famous rabbi in Eastern Europe. And in fact, people don't even know him by his name, Rabbi Kagan. They know him by the name of his greatest work, which was called Chofetz Chaim. Chofetz Chaim is about the laws of slander and gossip. What does Chofetz Chaim mean? It means to desire life. And he named that book because in Psalms, King David says, Mi ha'ish chafetz chaim, ohev yamim lirotov. Who is the man who desires life, who loves days and seeks good? Notzor l'shoncha meira. If you desire life, what should you do? Guard your tongue from speaking evil. And so, ever since he wrote that book, and since his passing in 1933, he has become known as the Chofetz Chaim. But what he did was he took this area of Jewish law, of Jewish philosophy, and he publicized it to such an extent that in the Jewish press today, or when it comes to any type of learning program, whether it's in a yeshiva or in a community, everybody is speaking about the Chofetz Chaim. They want to know, what did the Chofetz Chaim say about this? What did the Chofetz Chaim say about that? You know, he wrote books on almost every subject, on every topic of the day. And he's very famous for his halachic work, the Mishnah Berurah, which is about the laws of daily conduct. But what he will forever be remembered for are these laws that he developed of Chofetz Chaim, of slander, of gossip, of how to behave with your speech. There's a great deal going on in the world today, a great discussion about fake news, what is real news, slander, gossip, hate speech, what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, social media. It's an incredible headache, and it is something that is causing mass problems and difficulty in our world. How do we deal with it? Well, the Jewish people are very fortunate indeed, because we have perhaps the most sophisticated system of speech. What can we say? How can we say it? Under what conditions are we allowed to give over derogatory speech? All of this is described and is written up and is codified by the Chofetz Chaim. All you need to do is go and read his book. And even if you can't study it in the original Hebrew, it's been translated into almost every language. There's no excuse anymore. They tell over a story that the Chofetz Chaim was peddling his books in a particular village in Lithuania, and a man came over and he brought every single book that the Chofetz Chaim had written, except for one, the book called the Chofetz Chaim about the laws of Lashon Hora. So the Chofetz Chaim said to him, why don't you buy that book also? He said, if I buy that book, I won't be able to speak anymore. I won't be able to say anything. So the Chofetz Chaim says, no, you've got it wrong. At the moment that you do not have the book, you don't know what you can say. And therefore, at the moment, you have to be quiet. But once you buy my book, you'll know exactly what you're allowed to say, and then you will be allowed to speak. So the Chofetz Chaim did something incredible for all future generations. He told us the importance of speech. He told us how powerful and how destructive words can be. All we need to do is to embrace his teachings, to become better people, and to lift up others with speech rather than putting them down. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.